right. Hello.
Hello.
And welcome back to Jay and Mark, number 22.
With special guest host, The Bodge.
Emily, the Bodge boy. Emily boy is my
What
girlfriend.
What is Bodge?
Bodge is the original spelling of her last name.
Oh.
Boy with a J.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
But when you guys immigrated, I guess they changed it to boy.
Yeah.
Because it was easier to comprehend.
Well, it's
You're an immigrant?
pronounced the same. No, I'm not an immigrant.
No, but
Say
like her
Trump's
ancestors.
sending you back.
I don't think he has anything against Hungarians.
Oh, okay.
No, any immigrants he wants to send back.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, he's probably an immigrant of some sort.
His wife is.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, shit.
That's what you call a hypocrite, ladies and gentlemen.
So,
Welcome to Jay and Mark number 22. The special guest, Emily the Bodge boy.
the immigrant. We should just start calling her the immigrant.
I don't appreciate that.
Okay, then we're not going to do
All
that,
right.
ladies and gentlemen.
Um,
We don't want to piss off the Bodge.
Nope.
no, I certainly don't. Topic for this part of episode 22 is the paranormal and or aliens.
Yeah, one of my favorite topics.
One of Jared's favorite topics, and I believe Emily's as well.
Yeah.
I'm a fan. You know?
Yeah.
I'm open-minded. I guess where you want to start?
Well, I've got a video, and I kind of lost track of the video, so I'm not really sure which one it is. But with the video, I'm going to say, because you know how the government says that there's no aliens, blah, 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 blah. But if that's the case, why are there real men in black that go around and investigate these things?
I'm going to go ahead and say Johnny Cash. That's why. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Because he was the man in...
Gotcha. So anyway,
No, that's a good point.
After certain UFO sightings, there's also been sightings of this secret group known as the Men in Black, and there's video footage of these guys.
You talking about the surveillance footage of them like coming into places? And...
Yeah, and there's a ton of videos about them. But and we'll play it, whenever you want to play it, if you want to do it in post or whatever.
Whenever you're ready.
But,
I mean, we can't talk about it if we haven't seen it, so we need to see it. That's why we have this set up. I feel like we talked about this.
Yeah, I guess we did.
Like 3 times.
I'm hoping this is in fact the right video, but the one that I watched before, that's the wrong hole. That's the wrong hole.
I'm sure you've been there before. But
Oh! So anyway, this kind of talks about the Men in Black. It's kind of a long video, but you'll get the gist of it anyway, and then we don't have to play the whole thing.
it's 9 minutes. You might need to...
Start talking about aliens and shit, and my phone starts acting weird.
Bum, bum.
Bum, bum, bum. The plot thickens.
The cock thickens.
My cock thickens.
Roosters and chickens.
Today, I'm Ryan, that's Brent. This week on BuzzFeed Unsolved, we're covering the real-life Men in Black. Are they real? Are they as charming as their Hollywood counterparts? Watching
Probably
Men in
not.
Black, I never knew it was based on a true story. Today we find out. The Men in Black are typically described as wearing black suits, being expressionless, cold, sinister, and in some cases inhuman. The Men in Black seem to only talk to 2 kinds of people: those who claim to have seen a UFO and those who research UFOs. They present themselves as part of a secret organization, sometimes even producing a white card with a crest and the word security on it. And in some cases, they refer to each other by number rather than name. They threaten and scare people into remaining silent about their UFO encounters and or research. Think of them as the cleaners of the extraterrestrial universe. How much black do they actually wear? They look like the Men in Black that we see in the movie.
Okay, so basically,
Here are
they're just a government
terrifying
agency, supposedly, that
Right.
shows up and talks to people who investigate and or have seen or been involved with UFOs.
Exactly. But the thing is,
but they're expressionless and very uniform, and apparently they look very similar to each other. Which brings me to something I've heard about before, is that the Men in Black themselves are actually alien.
Yes. My question is, if the government's saying that, aliens haven't been here, basically, if they're trying to hide everything the way they have been,
Yeah.
why do they have this government agency? And it's not just, a couple reports of these people showing up and, like they just said in the video, threatening people to keep quiet. What? And I understand, like, there could be the whole mass hysteria or whatever where people just start freaking out over the thought, because there's some people that can't handle that. But
see, I feel like that's a cop-out, especially in this day and age. It's not. People will flip the fuck out, no doubt.
right.
But I think the more time goes on, the more accepting we are all becoming. More people are coming to terms with the fact that, okay, we're not alone out there, and someday we're going to know this.
Right. How could we be?
Exactly. I mean, more and more people are starting to believe. You know what I mean?
Right.
And if you think about it, like Mulder and Scully. But
I think they're already here.
oh, I have no doubt.
I think they're already here, and I think that they're literally working right next to us every day. Some days I think Justin's an alien. Just, whatever. Love you, Justin. I know you don't watch, but anyway. There's some days I think that dude just can't be human. but whatever.
Now that I know him, that's really funny.
Right. But no, I think they're already here.
I mean, if they exist and they're able to fly around in our atmosphere and come visit and shit, of course they're here. They're probably amongst us now, For all, like I said, the Men in Black.
Emily looks nervous. Maybe she's one.
Well, just like I said, for all we know, the Men in Black themselves, if they exist, are alien. I wouldn't be surprised if they've been here all along.
Or maybe they're not a government agency. Maybe they're an alien agency that's going around saying, hey,
Posing as a government
keep
agency.
your damn mouth shut.
Maybe. Or maybe, like you said,
Or
if
maybe
the
they're working
government's
with
saying that
the
aliens
government.
don't exist, why would they have this government agency, to basically intimidate people into keeping their mouth shut? Why wouldn't they? They do it with everything else. They do it when it comes to, recon and all that kind of shit. When it comes to war and espionage, and you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't sound like something any government.
Well, but do you think
any
that
power wouldn't
do you
do.
think that it's the government trying to cover it up because they're afraid people will just freak out, or do you think they're trying to cover it up because they know things that we don't know?
I think they're
and
trying to...
they might know that they're already here. And I don't want to refer to the movie Men in Black because that was,
fictional.
yeah, pretty far-fetched, but at the same time, well, not far-fetched, but the way it was presented was kind of silly.
Well, yeah.
But what if they are already here and they are working with our government? And that's why the government's trying to cover it up, because they don't want us to know.
What do you think?
She has thoughts, I can see it.
know.
And it's like she's not wanting
What
to.
if because you don't hear about the Men in Black as often as you hear about your classic abduction stories. Okay?
Or UFOs in general.
Yeah, they're not always a part of it. So maybe where the Men in Black come into play, those people were actually abducted by the government and tested on. And they thought that it was, think Scully.
So they were abducted by a weather balloon?
They were abducted by a certain branch of the government to test on humans, maybe to make some sort of humanoid soldier type thing.
Captain
And the
America?
Men in Black go in afterwards to make sure that they don't remember anybody specific to the government.
So you're saying
I
that they
like that
actually have
idea,
a
too.
neuralizer and they're having these motherfuckers look at it and they're erasing their memories?
No, I'm saying that they have electroshock and probes that they can just lobotomize somebody real quick with.
So you're
Ouch.
saying the Men in Black are the ones doing these abductions and stuff, not the aliens?
Not so much. I'm saying the government might be doing the abductions. Some of them, not all of them, because I do believe in aliens. Some abductions, the Men in Black going afterwards.
I feel like none of it is some of it's probably connected. All these different occurrences when it comes to aliens and UFOs and abductions and shit like that. It's probably sometimes aliens. It's probably sometimes the government. It's probably sometimes
People's crazy imaginations.
some traumatic experience they've had and they just that's what they turned it into. You know what I mean?
I feel like we're next because we're talking about this and it's going to go on.
God, I hope so.
I feel
Oh
like
my
we
God,
can't
I
be
hope
the only
so.
people to
Oh,
ever
no,
talk like
please,
this
no.
about it publicly.
No, I hope so.
I don't. Get him, not me. I'm
Come
fine
get
where I
me.
am.
Come get me, because I want to know.
We will give you him.
Take him.
I will
Take
give
'em.
you me.
But
Anyway.
I feel like there's multiple, I guess, entities behind these things. Like, it's not always the same thing happening.
No, there's multiple scenarios. Aliens are taking people, government's taking people, government's taking aliens, aliens taking government.
Or, I mean, like, maybe all these Men in Black occurrences aren't... Maybe every time it's not Men in Black. Maybe people are just dumb and it's like, oh, these guys are wearing black suits. They must be the fucking Men in Black. And maybe sometimes it is the Men in Black. Maybe sometimes it's government agents wanting to make you think they're the Men in Black. Maybe it's aliens making you want to think they're the Men in Black.
Maybe it's actually a dark shade of blue. We just think it's black.
Yeah, maybe it's like that damn dress that everybody was talking about last year.
Or maybe it is the Men in Black, and it's because if you go on YouTube, you can go on YouTube and you can see several of these videos where it's some of it's like closed circuit television video. It's just different types of video, but it's showing like the same fucking people, and it's like all over.
Kinda
It's not like different people; it's the same people that they keep catching on these videos.
like on Fringe, the Watcher or whatever, the guy that had bald his remember that show Fringe?
yeah,
He was. I only watched like the first season, but he was all throughout the first season. I'm pretty sure from what Mom told me, he was all throughout the show. But he was just a bald guy, no eyebrows, no hair whatsoever, just pale. And he was always in a suit, and he was always around with like a fedora on, and just watching with a
Yeah.
briefcase and shit, kind of like him.
yeah,
Like it was always that guy.
yeah.
It makes me think of Buffy for the silent episode where it's like almost like the Slenderman creepy people going around where they just got like these big ass smiles on their face, but the entire episode is like silent because nobody
Like
can
Edgar
speak.
from Men in Black.
Edgar.
Yes. Yeah. Just
Your
scary.
skin's hanging off your bones.
Sugar. More sugar.
Edgar. Your skin's hanging off your bones.
Okay.
How's this?
But yes.
That brother?
I did like your little fortune thing there that says you'll be successful at everything.
Yeah.
I got one not too long ago that basically told me I should pleasure myself.
Really?
Yeah, I took a picture of it. It was on my old phone, and I lost it.
There's a fortune
But-
cookie message that told you to go pleasure
Well,
yourself.
yes and no. It,
I
it basically
imagine your
said,
perverted mind just took it that way.
well, no. It basically said, you know what? Let me see if I can get it. It said, I don't know if I have it on here or not, because I know when they transferred everything to my new phone.
I gotcha. Well, I guess while you're doing that, I will introduce us. This is Jay and Mark number 23. I am Mark, and this is Jay, and yeah, welcome to episode number 23.
Peace. Oh, wait, no. We're starting. Sorry. Never mind.
So, this is a fortune cookie message that you actually got in a real fortune cookie when you
Yes.
went and got Chinese
We
food.
go to Katana all
Okay.
the time.
You got it from Katana.
And they always give us fortune cookies, and I think they actually know us now enough that when they seat us, they always bring Kenzie a fortune cookie right away because they know that she loves them.
Oh, gotcha.
And I don't remember the exact wording. It's not on my phone anymore. I don't remember the exact wording. I sent it in a message, so I'll have to find it and I'll text it to you or something.
Cool.
But
what did it say? Is what I want to know. What did it actually
I don't remember
say?
the exact wording, but basically it said stop. Something about stop waiting on other people to make you happy, and basically take it into your own hands. And I interpreted that my fortune cookie was telling me to masturbate.
No, all you had to say was the beginning part, and I knew exactly where it was going, and I knew exactly what happened and exactly why you thought that.
Right.
Now, you applied it to
Yeah.
something you complain about
I'm pretty,
constantly
yeah,
on the
and
show.
I'm pretty sure the
and I'm
fortune
sure we
cookie
don't
was-
need to get back into it
the
anymore.
fortune cookie was dead on, is all I'm saying. It was telling me, okay, it's time for you to
No, I
do
think
it yourself.
I think that's why the fortune cookie still has such value, because it does have some pretty convenient occurrences. You know what I mean? Like, you'll get Chinese food and you may be going through something's, very specific in your life, and then you get a very generic message from a fortune cookie that you just apply to it. You know what I mean? Like, it can apply to anything.
I just found it because I sent it to,
Nice.
like I said, and I always send them because I get them
no,
all
I
the time.
I save significant
It says,
ones.
why not treat yourself to a good time instead of waiting for someone else to do it?
No, I see. So you were instantly that clicked in your head, but it was like exactly.
I'm supposed to go home and jack off.
So just jerk off more is what they're telling you.
Do it myself.
All right. Well, I guess that'll lead right into what I want to talk about, because that is right along the same lines, and then that's going to lead into another like a very relevant social topic.
Okay.
But first off, I read an article the other day about a college student, girl, 20-some-year-old, can't remember her name. She is facing a year in prison for masturbating in a college library, the library. I don't know if it was a college library, but it was a library. I assumed it was because she was a college student. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I guess it could have been like a public library. But masturbating
Either way, it's public.
on a webcam, like for somebody.
Yeah.
Like probably a boyfriend, or maybe she's a cam girl to make some extra money or
Right.
something. But she's facing a year in prison for that. Now, what I'm leaving out is she wasn't caught in the act. They found her. This video was seen by somebody, and not only that, but now it's all over the internet. Like, I'm gonna look it up, the article I found it in.
Now, do you think that she's getting in trouble for what she,
For like public indecency.
well,
or
I guess I'm
public
not sure how to say
masturbation.
it, but like, I mean, people do this every single day. You know,
Masturbate in public?
well, yeah. If you,
No, I mean, I'm not saying they don't. I'm just saying, is that what you're referring to?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And they record it and they post it on the internet. Do
Yeah.
you think that because
this is like a thing? It's like a fetish
yeah,
porn
do you
thing,
think
kinda.
because somebody recognized her and was like, "Oh, I know her," and then it got around that they're trying to just make an example and they're going to throw the book at this chick rather than going after all the other people that do it? That I'm sure somebody recognized.
They're
mean,
making an example of her. Yeah, that's
Right.
what I think. Because I mean, it's not a new thing. I've watched some videos like that where I was just
Yeah.
like, oh shit, and being a guy, you're just intrigued. I mean, even women probably are intrigued by that. I was like, really? And I'll tell you right now, I watched the video of her doing it just to see how
yeah,
how it all played out and how she did it and stuff. And she's hot. I mean, she's not not bad looking at all.
no, not at all.
But I mean, she did everything they said she did, and she didn't get caught at all. She did it very,
Discreetly,
yeah. And this is like a 30-some minute video that's released on the internet. Like, it's in this article. You can
Wow.
watch it. But it says this is an article by Brian Abrams.
that's JJ's.
It
brother,
is
ain't it?
on. Yeah. What what the fuck is this called?
Well, anyway, while you're looking at
It's
that,
an article on deathandtaxesmag.com, the Death and Taxes magazine website. It's entitled "Student May Spend Year in Jail for Masturbation Cam in College Library." There you go. And like I said, and in parentheses, not safe for work, which they attach the actual video to it. So I guess if you want to see the video for yourself, it's out there.
I know I was listening to the radio. This was, I don't know, probably a year or so ago. And remember Mo on Q92?
Yes.
I loved that guy. I know a lot of people thought he was just a jerk, but I loved Mo. But anyway, he told a story about, there was another story similar to this about somebody getting in trouble for doing that, but it was for one of those like pay websites where the girls are actually being paid to do this stuff in public.
Yeah.
And he said he dated a girl years ago when he was not like real young, but I think he said he was like in his 20s probably.
Yeah.
But she would go, like, I don't know, I guess she didn't drive or whatever, but he would actually drive her to a place and drop her off, and she would go in and do that.
Real quick.
And then,
Like almost like doing a job real quick.
right, and then she would come back out with her laptop, because she would literally take her laptop in with her to wherever she was going to do this stuff.
Yeah.
And then she would come back out and she'd go, "This is how much I made." And he said she made like $1,500 to $2,000.
No, in
just
this-
during that show, because there was so many people watching it at the time and paying to watch it.
Actually, honestly, that's probably what happened
Yeah,
here.
probably.
Because that's exactly what she did. She walked out holding the laptop, like it was the end of the video, like me leaving. Like, yes, almost like it was proof to be like, look, this was legit.
Right.
And maybe the guy she was doing it for wasn't a boyfriend or something. Like, but the article says in Corvallis, Oregon, I think that's Corvallis,
Oregon.
Corvallis, Oregon. A 19-year-old is facing a public indecency charge that might put her behind bars for filming herself masturbating in the campus library of Oregon State University. It says Oregon State Police charged student Kendra Sunderland on Tuesday after obtaining footage of her video, which shows Sunderland flashing and mooning the camera several times and touching herself. The video was taken in October on the 6th floor of OSU's Valley Library. She was a student at the time of the video's production, though now, as the Smoking Gun has indicated, which I guess is a news source, she is not currently enrolled in classes. Now, whether or not she's not currently enrolled in classes because of this, I don't know.
She either graduated or probably got expelled.
Now this was that would mean that this happened at least several months, if not a year or so, before she was actually charged.
Yeah.
Now they obtained it later. Obviously, that's what they said. The police,
It had to have been a woman that turned her in.
after it said police charged student Kendra Sunderland on Tuesday after obtaining footage of her video. It doesn't say who
It was probably a woman.
released it.
I don't know of a dude that would report that kind of thing.
Well,
I mean, I wouldn't. If I went to that college and if I recognized that girl, I'd be like, "Oh, I know her," but I'm not going to turn her in over it. You know what I mean?
yeah. It says,
Probably 'cause
editors note the video below has been widely circulated, and while not technically classified as hardcore porn, is still highly explicit. You've been warned, American workforce.
So it actually shows the video. I mean, is it
Oh, the video is
censored?
no, it's the actual video, like the full thing. And
Please hold.
dude, it's 30 minutes fucking long. I'm not gonna show you I'll show you some of the video, but that's her, and this, you can watch the whole fucking video.
Yeah, she is hot.
And I mean, I'll skip through so you can see, but like, she does all kinds of stuff in the video, like all kinds of stuff.
And those are different outfits, so this is different times.
Well, it's not different out. No, it's all one long thing. She just took her shirt off, put her hoodie over it, so she could easily flash the camera. But it's just like watching a cam video, and she just flashes her boobs, her ass, and then takes her pants like all the way down and masturbates for a few minutes. Like, she knew she was doing something illegal. She
Right.
knew it, because the whole time she was watching her ass. Like, she was very, very
Right.
like
Could you imagine though, if
Aware.
there was any kind of delay at all on that video, and she's trying to watch it through the screen on her computer, like watching behind her and everything, and then all of a sudden she just sees like the librarian or something standing right behind her, and she's like,
well, it was.
"Oh,
You
shit."
saw the quality of the video. It was a decent camera. It wasn't
Right.
HD or anything, but it was probably one of the more better standard definition
Right.
webcams. It was probably on her laptop because she's moving it like
screen,
like
yeah.
it's the screen. But I mean, I don't know. I know she committed a crime. She should definitely face some charges. But it was a victimless crime. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
don't think she's gonna get a year, but you never know. They might make an example of her.
yeah, I don't know that she'll get actual jail time. I'm sure she'll get fined. She'll be expelled from the school for sure.
Oh yeah, if she's not
And
already.
she'll end up having maybe like a probation or something. But I mean, whatever.
The thing I question, I really want to know how the police obtained the video and if it was like a revenge thing or whatever, and how long it had actually been when the act was actually committed.
Yeah,
Because I feel like it's one of those things that, like, you can't. Well, I mean, maybe you could. It all depends on how you do it. But, like, you can't find a video of somebody, like, smoking crack or something, or smoking weed or something.
and then report it
and
after
then
the
report
fact.
it afterwards, and them get arrested and be charged. Like,
Right.
unless, like, there was some other criminal act done in the process. Like, I don't think that's even possible. Like, so...
Well, she'll get if
like
she
she
gets
wasn't even
charged,
caught, no harm, no foul. Basically, is how I see it.
and that's kind of how I see it. But they're probably going to give her some sort of indecent exposure in
they already-
public.
yeah,
They're-
public indecency.
Yeah, she'll be expelled from school.
I just feel like there's bigger fucking fish to fry than some hot girl
Right.
making a couple extra bucks in the library that nobody even
and
saw.
right. Well, clearly everyone's seeing it now, but
Well, yeah, but I mean, in the time, she didn't like some little kid didn't walk in and it didn't traumatize some lady or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, there's not like she was caught because some, prudish lady was in there and just made a big huff and puff about something. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
right. Somebody
I mean,
saw
how
the
many times have they caught kids probably having sex somewhere? Like that episode of Friends. Remember, like where Ross's book is where everybody
Oh,
fucked.
yep.
So he thought like that was really a really popular section or whatever. But whatever.
Right.
That shows my age and how much of a loser I am because people get made fun of for liking Friends. But I watched Friends, damn it.
So did I. I loved Friends.
Yeah, but like there's bigger,
No, there's
not a
definitely
big
bigger
deal.
problems, but
and it could have went all that way. I guess
It
bad
could
things
have.
could have happened.
it
because-
could have. And I'm sure that any guy that might have noticed her doing that in the library at the time wasn't gonna say shit.
No, they probably would have just sat there and creeped her out to the point where she left and stopped.
Right. She was probably reported by some woman.
Or they would have taken advantage of her, like blackmailed her or something, depending on what kind of person the guy was. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But then again, she might have just had that I don't give a fuck kind of attitude. And
Well, she obviously
if,
didn't give a fuck because she was looking around,
Right,
being
and
very
if-
careful.
and if she's I would imagine she was doing that for money on some website somewhere.
I would, yeah. I'm
So-
thinking it's like a way for her to. She's probably paying her way through college or something. You know what I mean?
Exactly. She probably made a whole bunch of money off of that, and she probably just doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, you're absolutely-
I mean,
Well, probably.
I'm sure she gives a fuck now because she may be looking at jail time, which I doubt she is. But I mean, that's like if I go outside and take a piss in the yard and a cop drives by, he's going to write me a ticket for indecent exposure. I'm going to have to go to court and I'm going to end up paying a fine. It's
Really?
kind of the same
Even if
thing.
it's on your own property.
Even if
Someone could see your dick, it's indecent exposure.
yeah, exactly.
So what if like I was in my backyard pissing in the corner and the cop just came walking around my corner? You know what I mean? Like nobody could see it.
You're in public with your genitals
I'm not in public,
out.
though.
Well, you are.
I'm outdoors. But
technically you're in public.
I'm on private property.
Yes. Okay. That I don't know.
That's what I'm
But
saying.
if you're in public so I would say public property, and you whip out your wiener and take a piss somewhere,
Yeah,
and a cop happens to see you, he will stop you. He may arrest you,
Oh yeah.
but chances are you're going to get written up for a ticket and have to go to court.
I don't know if it was on Always Sunny or it was a character he played in a movie, but Charlie Day, the guy who plays Charlie on Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Like I said, I don't know if it was like Horrible Bosses or whatever movies he's been in, but I think it was Always Sunny. But he's technically a sex offender or like a pedophile or whatever because he took a piss on a playground at night, an empty playground at night, and he was caught by the cops. So like. That shit like ruins people's lives.
It does. And you
this
know what?
in a way, is going to ruin this girl's life.
Yeah, it does. And they will give you that title over some dumb shit, like taking a piss on a playground in the middle of the night.
I just watched a TV show. Oh no, on Orange Is the New Black recently. There was a guy who, oddly enough, it was a guy they were telling, but it fit in with one of the storylines of the female characters. And there was a guy who was labeled a sex offender, and this girl was coming to his house to whatever. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen Orange Is the New Black. I'm not going to say any character names or whatever, but this will probably ruin it. Well, if you watch it and like put it all together. But she went there to like get him to sign a petition of some sort, and she was bet $50 that she couldn't do it because he was a pedophile and whatnot like that. Like basically, it was like if you even go there, basically like. Whatever she made a bet for $50,
right?
And she went there to try to get this guy to sign the petition. And you open the door, and the guy is just a normal dude. Like he looks a little. They gave him a mustache. Like he only has a mustache, and he's clean shaven otherwise. So that kind of gave him a creep feel. They did that on purpose. You know what I mean? They gave him that like pedophile mustache look.
Right.
And the girl's like real nervous the whole time, and he knows exactly why she's nervous. Like he asks her how old she is before he even comes in the house. He's like, "Look, you shouldn't even be here," but and he's being very, very careful. You know what I mean? And
right.
You can tell that he knows she's... You just get that vibe, you know what I mean?
Right.
And she goes in there and she's talking to him, and he's just like... the petition was like stop Walmart from doing something or something, and she tells him why, and he's like, look, you want to know what I did? Or she said something about it, and he was like, no, it's even worse than that. What if it was even worse than that? Blah, blah, blah. And this is all beside the point, but she... basically he's like, you want to see what I did? And he goes to walk away. He's like, no, really, you don't need to do that. And he like grabs a newspaper and he shows her, and it says, couple caught having sex on the beach, blah 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 blah. So basically he was labeled a fucking sex offender because him and his wife or girlfriend at the time or whatever were having sex on an empty beach, and the guy, there was a perv filming them, and the perv turned him in.
Jeez.
Yeah. So like shit like that. I mean, that's a fictional story, but I'm sure that's not far-fetched.
Right.
I'm sure that's happened before. People were labeled sex offenders. It fucked their whole lives up.
Yeah.
They have to walk around to everybody in the neighborhood when they move to a neighborhood and actually announce that they're a fucking sex offender.
Now, I've heard that, but I've never actually heard of that actually
That's never actually happened to me either. And I mean, you can get online and there's like things like, are there sex offenders in my neighborhood? And they'll show you like on Google Maps where sex offenders live and stuff. And like, I'm sure I've lived in a neighborhood where there's a sex offender.
I know they send out cards. Like if somebody moves into a neighborhood, I have
gotten one of those.
They'll send out cards. We got one. It was actually just after we moved in. Jen and I moved into the house we're in. We got a card saying that, like, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 blocks.
No, when I lived in Mass,
up the road.
But he never came to my house and like told me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then again, if I didn't know you, or I thought maybe you were a Jehovah's Witness or something, I didn't answer the fucking door either.
Right.
I mean, they rang the doorbell. I was up in an apartment inside of a house that was like an old mansion that was like diverted to a bunch of different apartments, and like they literally just a bunch of doorbells outside for each apartment. And they would just ring my doorbell, and I would just look out the window and ignore. Like,
ring my bell.
Like,
ring my bell.
You look menacing and or irritating. I don't want to talk to you. But I also question how the video got out. Did they release? Was it like officially released as like evidence or something? I doubt it. I mean, that they didn't blur her face or anything. Like,
Then again, maybe
that's
that's
like public shaming.
Then again, maybe that's how. Okay,
maybe that's how they obtained the video.
maybe that's how the police got the video. Maybe
because if it is a
it
cam
was-
thing, anybody can rip that shit
right.
as it's happening.
And maybe
The right
it was
program.
somebody that recognized her and was like, shit, I went to school with this girl. I know this girl. And then maybe ripped the video and then emailed it to somebody and was like, dude, check it out. It's so-and-so. And then that
Actually-
dude's like, holy shit. And then he sent it out, or maybe somebody posted it on their Facebook or something or whatever. And then all of a sudden it just went everywhere. And then the cop was like, yeah.
Perhaps. I mean, maybe, or it was an ex-boyfriend.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, that too.
I mean, they never. Everything about her doing
Or
it for
maybe-
money or something was all speculative.
maybe an
We don't actually know.
ex-boyfriend had it and a new girlfriend found it and was like, fuck this bitch, I'm gonna blast her all over everywhere. And then she did it.
If that's the case, karma's a bitch, lady.
Yeah.
I just feel bad because, like, the girl, honestly, she was having a good. That's what makes me think it wasn't for money, and she was doing it to, like, satisfy some guy she liked or some dude she's dating or whatever. 'Cause
Right.
she seemed really into it, like, in the video, and, like, she seemed like she was genuinely excited and was like, it was something that she enjoys.
Yeah.
Like, she was getting off on it. In a
Or maybe she was getting off on seeing cha-ching, 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 all these people paying money to come in and watch it.
Yeah. Well, even then, that's even more like, because maybe, you know, your professor's a fucking perv and he's actually watching that. That is
Maybe
just,
that's
you're just
how-
asking for trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
I
true
don't know.
too.
I guess maybe I should try to read or follow up on it because this was a couple of days ago. Maybe there's some new. Maybe we'll have some updates.
I'll tell you what. I'll follow up on it. Don't worry about
I
it.
bet you will.
Yeah, working on the new house. Had a baby. House is almost done. The babies are almost grown and out of the house. No, I'm just kidding. We haven't been off that long.
Say, damn.
But
Yeah, it's only been like 3 or 4 months for it. Maybe. I don't know. Don't
Yeah.
quote me on any of this. It's been so long I can't remember
yeah, it's wait, what?
since we did a new episode.
Yeah, no, it's been a while.
We got to keep this more consistent.
No, we do, and it will be now. Just like this morning when we talked about it, and I was like, well, I got to run trim,
Fuck
but
it.
other than that,
No matter what, we just got to set aside like 2 hours a week.
well, right, well, and see, that's what I was thinking this morning was, you
even
know,
if we got to switch days or something, do it at night real quick.
right. Well, once the sun, because the sun's going down earlier. Now that we're living in the house, which is going up for sale, once it's done, we're putting it on the market. So we originally bought the house to flip it,
Mhm.
and once it's done, we still have intentions of flipping it, but we ended up moving into it in the meantime. So all that to tell you that now that it's getting darker sooner, I have to do all my cutting outside.
Oh,
So now that it's getting darker,
especially with the baby.
around
yeah.
5 o'clock, 5:30ish, I literally can't really do anything.
Yeah, because
because-
you have no light.
Right, and
That and
everything.
people are settling down. They don't want to hear power tools and shit.
Yep, exactly. I don't want to piss off the
And you live in the
neighbors.
city right now.
Yep, I don't want to piss off the neighbors with cutting everything outside. So my time, the house is almost complete. My time is starting to open up. So yeah, getting back over here to start doing this regularly again should not be an issue.
But good. I'm
So-
sure listeners are, however many listeners we still have, I guess we'll find out. We'll appreciate that.
I bet we still have a lot. They're waiting,
Oh, they're waiting.
especially ever since Adam Carolla,
That was so weird.
which is fucking sweet. I mean, seriously, that's sweet. When you sent me that, I was like,
Yeah, I
is
couldn't
that?
believe it. I woke up and I was like, what the fuck?
I was like, is that who I think it is? That is who I think it is.
Yeah, I even at first I was like, maybe it's just somebody who's like an Adam Carolla or like a fan site or something. I clicked on it; it was his official one. Like I said, I don't know if he runs it or not, but it's his official one, which means somebody up there saw us, which is
Right.
cool. I mean, I don't expect anything of it really, but I mean, it's cool to see that. I remember one time, like I don't know if you saw this, but I think it was 2012 at Coachella. I think it was Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg did a performance with a hologram of Tupac. Did you see that?
No.
But I remember when it happened, people filmed it, and it was getting taken down off of like YouTube and shit like that. So I posted it, like a new one that somebody re-uploaded, and Snoop Dogg shared it. So that, like that's happened.
Oh, that's
before.
cool.
Yeah. So and it was only because like, oh shit, this one's still up. Somebody saw it and fucking.
No, that's
Post
way
it.
cool. I think social media has given us a lot of good things, but at the same time, I think
A lot of-
social media has given us a lot
Just
of
like everything, it has
a
its
lot of
pros and cons.
shitty things too. Like, well, you and I have talked recently a lot about different things, and things that I would have never, we probably never even would have been aware of had there not been social media and people.
And internet in general.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, everything from, aliens and stuff that we like to look at to
Yeah.
to
Like we would have had to go to the library and found a book or saw a special on TV. Like in the 90s, before there was internet, before the internet hit, in like the
Right.
80s and shit, you would have had to have done research, like real research, as opposed to having all your research at like the tip of your fingers. Like,
Mhm.
you would have to go to the library and use their computer that didn't have internet. It just had databases.
and you
know?
probably would have never found this stuff either.
Yeah.
Because this is stuff that
I mean, there wasn't people there filming it with their phone because the phone shit didn't exist.
right. You didn't. Well, there were cell phones as far back as the '80s, but
But they weren't. They didn't have cameras on them.
right, they didn't have cameras.
You didn't
couldn't
get
do
camera
video.
phones till late 90s.
Right. You couldn't do video. You couldn't do picture. You couldn't do anything. All you could do was have it mounted in your car, pick it up and dial
Yeah.
it just like a home phone, and pay $300 a month.
And it was a satellite phone pretty much at that point.
Right.
And, yeah, you'd pay out the ass to use it
Yep.
because it costs so much to get it to and fro, as opposed to the internet. Everything's wireless and it's all sent. Everything's basically an email.
I can remember Dad telling me years ago that the first and they weren't cell phones; they were car phones.
Mhm.
Back when they first came out, and I can remember Dad telling me that it cost him like almost $3,000 to have his car phone installed in his Imperial, and his
Now,
bill
if you had
every
a car
month.
phone in your car, people would just be like, "What the fuck? Are you in the ancient times?
Right.
Dude? Was this 1986?
Right. And his bill every month was just outrageous. It was hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Like right now, you can have 2 lines and pay $100.
Yeah. Now your car
And basically
syncs wirelessly to your phone so you can talk through your car phone.
right.
Which is just a fucking speaker and microphone mounted above you or like in your steering wheel or whatever.
Right. It's fucking
It's
crazy.
amazing, dude. And think about
Crazy.
the fact,
I feel like
think,
I'm
about,
taking crazy pills.
think about the fact that all this shit happened within the last 20 years, 30
Yep.
years for some of them.
Yeah.
And before that, there was hundreds of years where none of this shit happened. Like,
Yeah.
just imagine where in the next 20 or 30 years where all this shit's going to be, dude.
Maybe we'll finally have flying cars.
Or maybe it'll all go to shit and we won't have nothing.
In
We'll
the
be
next-
finding VHS tapes and being like, thank God I found that VCR 3 months ago. I could watch fucking, Gross Point Blank or something. The Godzilla 2000. You'd be happy to see Godzilla from 2000.
I may not even see any of that.
Or 99 or whatever.
You know,
Matthew
I'll be
Broderick.
pushing 60 in 20 more years.
Hmm.
37.
That's ridiculous. I'll
Oh
be
my
pushing
God.
50.
No. I'm 38. I just
Wait,
turned
in 30
38.
years, I'll be pushing 60. Yeah, you'll be pushing 70. In 20 years, I'll be pushing 50. You'll be pushing 60.
No, I'm 38. Wow. I still said I was 37.
Oh,
But no,
yeah.
I'll be pushing 60.
I know, dude. I'm 29. I'm going to be fucking 30 in less than a year, and it freaks me out a little bit.
Nah, 30 ain't no big deal.
I know 30 ain't no big deal, but it's the beginning of a big deal.
Well,
From here on out, like,
I remember
I'm getting old.
I remember right
You know?
before I remember right before I turned 20. I was like, "Fuck yeah, I'm going to be 20. This is awesome. I'm going to be 20 years
I
old.
could
I'm
drink
out
in a year.
I'm out of high school finally cuz I hated high school.
Yeah, so
And I'm out of high school, I'm going to be 20. This is awesome. And then 30 came around and I was like, I'm going to be 30.
Hmm.
And then 30 wasn't that bad. My 30s have
No,
not been
no.
that bad at all.
But like,
But now I'm about to be 40 and I'm almost freaking. And I always used to, because I can remember Christy used to be like, well, she used to say she was celebrating the whatever number anniversary of her 29th birthday.
her second 29th birthday, yeah, or third,
Right.
yeah.
It was always it was
Something
never
like
a
that.
birthday anymore. It was her anniversary of her 29th
Well, shit,
birthday.
to Christy, I was 13 for like 10 years.
Right. Well, now I'm freaking out about I'm almost 40. And I'm sure that once I'm 40, I'm going to be like, okay, 40 is not that bad.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I am literally like halfway through my life now.
Yeah.
That's a scary thought
That's
because
I'm getting
I
there
can
myself.
I can remember I can still remember when I was little, and it doesn't seem that fucking far away. So it actually comes back to that old saying that time flies.
I still
And the older you get, the faster time goes, which I always thought, okay, whatever, that's stupid. But it's not.
yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah. Like it's like I reached like 22, 23 and my thought process about things, maybe 25ish, is the same. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm always 22, I'm just wiser. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't it's weird. It's hard to explain like when I was 13, I was 13. When I hit 15, I was like, yeah, I feel 15. You know what I mean? When I hit 18, I was like, yeah, you know, I feel 18. I'm an 18-year-old. I hit 22, I was like, yeah, I feel 20. Like 22 to 25, I was like, yeah, I feel 22, 25. After that, I've just kind of, like, it's hard to believe that I'm 30. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. It's weird. And, like, there's a movie I watched. I can't remember. It was called, what the fuck was it called? It had the guy from How I Met Your Mother in it. Played Ted Mosby. What the fuck was that movie? It wasn't Liberal or Arts. He made that movie too, but he made this movie. Oh, it's called Happy Thank You More Please. And he was talking to a guy that he knew that was older, and he said, I met a guy who's before when I was younger that told me every 5 years I look back at myself 5 years ago and I think, man, I was a fucking asshole. And he's like, I do that like every 2 years. You know, and I feel that way too. I do that like every 6 months. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I know what you mean.
Like I look at myself at 22 and I was like, man, I was a dumb dick. Like I was a dumb ass. I didn't know shit and I thought I did.
Yeah. No, it's very true. I know kind of in the opposite, and not to say that I think I'm a really good person, but
yeah,
I've always
I'm a terrible person,
right.
but I didn't know what the fuck I was talking about in most cases. Like it didn't turn out the way I thought. Like,
right.
Yeah. I'm getting old. It's weird.
We are getting old.
And like I feel the same way you do at 40 about 30. Like cuz things are starting to happen. That happen when you get old. Like my back hurts all the fucking time.
Dude,
I don't
I'm
want to get
telling
up
you.
in the morning. I don't want to stay up too late unless I'm like drinking or something. You know what I mean? Like
Dude, I don't even want
I don't want to go anywhere.
I feel the same
I don't want
way.
to do nothing.
Nope,
Like
I feel the
don't
same
care.
way.
Partying, I don't give a fuck about. Like if I'm gonna partying to me is getting high and drinking at home.
Yeah.
And watching a movie, catching up on my shows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Wrestling.
Things are happening that are signs significant aging. Like you're
Right.
getting older. And it's weird. I don't hate it, but it kind of freaks me out a little bit.
No, I understand.
And it's only gonna become more as time goes on, as opposed to what it was when I was like in my early to mid 20s, when I was just like, you know, who cares? I'm 20 something. Let's go party or something.
Right. No,
It's not that way anymore.
You're absolutely right, and that's like I said, and I'm being optimistic when I say I'm halfway through my life. I mean, quite honestly,
Yeah, we
I'm
smoke. You know what
right.
I mean?
I'm about to be 40.
We eat.
When
and
I turned
drink all kinds
30,
of terrible shit.
exactly. When I turned 30, I could have literally been halfway through my life. I don't know. Shit, I could go out there, get in the car, and leave, and die on my way home. I don't know.
Exactly.
But if I live another 30 years with the way things are now, I'll be lucky. We'll all be lucky. You'll be lucky.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be, in 30 years, you're going to be pushing 60. I'm going to be pushing 70.
Dude, and it seems like time's going by faster and faster.
And if they keep up with these
year is
chemtrails,
shorter
we're
and
all
shorter.
going to fucking be dead. But we won't get into that.
Yeah.
We'll save that for another
That's a whole
podcast.
nother episode, yeah.
But, yeah, no, it's... The thought of being 40 doesn't scare me because it's becoming 40. It scares me because my life is... I think I can honestly say my life is past the halfway point. To where... I'm not going to live another 40 years.
At 40, halfway would be 80. And honestly, if I live to be 80, I probably made a significant change in my life at some point.
Right.
That made me healthier. I quit smoking, or I started eating better, or you know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
something was invented that made people a lot more healthy than they were.
If
You know
we
what I
can
mean?
just get the V's to come,
The V's? Oh, the people from V,
You got it.
the lizard people.
if we-
they had ulterior motives, man. They were lizard people dressed up as humans, eating fucking like guinea pigs and hamsters and shit.
I know, but they were saving people and they were curing people.
There was one girl that fell in love, or no, I think in the '80s version it was a guy that fell in love with a human girl, and then in the remake one, I think it was a girl that fell in love.
It was
with
the
a
girl
guy.
that fell in love with the human boy.
And she got pregnant.
But I don't think that it's going to be that bad. When the aliens do finally show themselves, I don't think it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
Right. I really don't.
All right.
Again,
I
that's
mean,
a
we don't
topic
know.
for another.
There's all kind of movies that could go either way.
I guess it's going to depend on how we, as humans, handle the situation. I think is what it's going to come down to.
Yeah,
But
probably.
hopefully they come soon because we definitely need help. I mean, for crying out loud, Donald Trump's going to be president. We need help.
Which again that's probably another thing to probably save for another time.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a reason to talk about it in the coming future.
Oh my gosh. I got a timer on my
Do
camera.
that at all.
I got a timer on my camera, and that. What's that? I think you have a ghosting. Look, it just did it again.
It's the cords pulling.
I think it's a ghost.
Yeah, it's the ghost. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. The ghost I don't have.
You have a ghost.
Anyway, welcome to the Jay
If
and
this
Mark
fucker
podcast.
goes up and down,
Dude, it's
gonna
because I'm moving my leg. Look. That's all it is. Chill.
yeah, okay, it's a ghost.
It's a ghost.
It didn't do it at all when you
It's my
moved your
ghost.
leg.
It's my phantom limb.
Yeah.
That's there. And it is
Yeah.
a phantom.
Yeah.
Hello. Again,
Hello.
welcome to the Jay and Mark podcast. This is episode number 26. We're at 26 and we're consistent now all of a sudden. Isn't that weird?
That is so weird.
Yeah. Ignore the fact that we're wearing the same clothes as the last episode.
Yeah, we've been up all night.
Yeah,
Totally
it's the
different
next
day.
day
Yeah,
from that one.
you could tell because my hair's all messed up.
We're both wearing hats, sir. But no,
Damn it, I
we're
always
trying
mess
to
that
get
up.
some backstock so that it can be more regular. It's for you guys.
Yeah,
It's for you, Jesse and Nick
yeah,
and Miggy, maybe,
yeah. This
Possibly
fucking
Doug.
cat.
and anybody else I may have left out, whom I love.
Before I forget, that reminded me. Well, not reminded me. You started to sway the conversation in that direction, so I want to go to that too. Have you noticed? And we don't have to elaborate much on it if you don't want to, but have you noticed how many more videos are coming out, like on YouTube and the internet and all that stuff, of UFO sightings? It's incredible.
What do you mean, just over the past few years? How
Yeah.
many more there are?
Like even like amateur like even like amateur videos of people that are, what is it, Turkey? There's some shit going on in Turkey right now.
You mean just people busting out their phones like because they're out and they happen to see it and they're like, what the fuck? And they just capture it?
Right, and no, exactly. There's a ton of videos, and you and I both like this website. It's that Secure Team 10 YouTube channel.
Todd here from Secure Team.
I knew it. How you guys doing?
And I like the guy. And he's not that bad. I
No,
exaggerate extremely, but like I
Right.
think it's funny, and that's something we do all the time.
Right.
Todd here from Secure Team.
But that dude gets emailed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and he posts all this stuff, and he says, I'm not trying to say it's real. I'm not trying to debunk it,
No,
though.
no,
People are sending it to me. I'm putting it out there, and I'm giving you my thoughts on it.
I want to see
And
what
some
your
of the-
thoughts are.
Right,
so-
and some of this stuff is pretty convincing.
yeah.
But he has also put out videos on something called Project Bluebeam, which is the government using holograms to basically stir up.
No, like they say
Shit.
the moon's a hologram.
Right.
They say the universe. Is a hologram.
There's actually a theory out there. I don't know whose theory it is, but they're trying to say that the moon could be hollow, and it's some sort of alien space
I've heard about
whatever
this.
up on the moon.
And like that's something I always wondered about because when you see certain pictures of the moon, especially when they show like X-ray pictures of the moon and stuff, it looks like steel beam structures
Yeah, there's a lot of weird
inside of
shit
there.
up there.
Almost like you see like in a dome for like a stadium, like those big steel beams that like support beams.
Mhm.
It looks like a bunch of those that make up a circle.
There's
And I mean, that might be photoshopped, or that might just be some natural thing in the fucking ground. But I mean, that's interesting.
well, or it could be our brain's way of putting together what we're seeing,
Yeah,
just
they
like
call
just
that
like how
Matrixing, where you see something that isn't actually there,
right
just
because your brain's trying to make sense of it.
Exactly.
But now there's also some other really cool photos from the pictures were taken by the Mars rover
Hmm.
thing.
Yeah.
There's one, and they're even saying there might be again, rumors, theories, speculation,
Who
whatever
the
you want
fuck
to call
knows?
it, whatever you want to call it. But that rover captured a picture, and Tyler on that secure team, he posted a video about it too, where there's literally a light coming up out of the ground on Mars, and the rover got a picture of it.
Really?
Yeah, it's fucking sweet, dude.
Well,
To look
could
at it and
that-
just be like, what?
Could that be like a reflection from like a rock? Or
No,
like-
it's a light shooting straight up out of the planet.
so it's like a beam, like a laser.
No, it's like the fucking light coming out of the hatch on Lost when
Oh,
it.
shit. So like the beam of lights that they put for the Twin Towers when they were down. I think they're still there. They just beam straight up. into the
Yeah,
sky,
but
kinda like
but
that.
it's literally coming from underground though. Look,
Shit.
there it is right there. I just found it.
The picture.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
it's literally coming up out of the ground.
Yeah, that looks like almost like a bonfire. You know, and like I expected to see something like beaming way high into like the atmosphere, but this is like
Yeah,
like 100 or so, couple hundred feet off the ground.
right. And you got to think too how far away the rover is from taking that picture. So the
It almost
height on that,
Looks
it's
like an
hard.
explosion or like I said, like a really big bonfire.
Right. Well, and there's also, and there's been several, and you could find other videos on this too. People talking about NASA for
I'm
the.
sorry if his snoring is annoying.
I don't even hear it anymore, but until you say something. But well, I do now. But
Well, I also meant for the viewers.
no, I know.
But go ahead.
NASA, anytime something happens, like in space,
Mhm.
and their space station catches it, because they've got cameras all around the NASA space station up there.
Yeah.
And anytime, because there's people that literally sit there and watch this shit like all day long, and they'll pick up on things, and like literally lights just going flashing across the screen, like there's literally UFOs just racing
Yeah.
around out there. And NASA will literally cut the feed.
No, I've seen these videos. Yeah,
And then
like you'll
there's-
see it just start to happen and then it'll cut.
Yeah.
Like I saw the one where it was like coming. It came out of the darkness and it just slowly like crept. You saw more and more of it as it was getting closer, and then they like cut it like before it got too close. But they actually. I don't know if they did it yet, but I think they stopped showing that live feed, and that's probably why. Like NASA stopped doing it, but I think somebody else does it now.
Yeah.
But
Maybe it's Elon Musk.
I don't know.
But no, there's some cool shit out there. And
I could be wrong.
coming back to a conversation we had on a previous podcast,
Previously on Jay and Mark.
previously on Jay and Mark.
On Lost.
Where the fuck was I going with this?
On a previous podcast,
Yeah,
we talked
I
about
am
something.
losing my
apparently.
mind.
We were talking about the NASA space station and how there was shit flying all around it.
Yeah, I don't fucking remember.
Oh man, you're losing your memory, bro.
Dude, I'm telling you, don't get old.
But anyway, the NASA around the space station thing though, that's all like around the space station. That's not like those cameras can't see like to Mars and shit. The stuff you're seeing from Mars are like the rover or like satellites they send out there and whatnot.
Right. No, I'm referring to like shit that they're seeing like flying, like flying past the cameras.
Yeah, just like quick little.
Not
wisps
like
and-
they're, trying to perform for the camera. I mean, you're literally just watching this shit fly through space.
Yeah, just real quick, like they're moving a light speed or
Yeah.
whatever. You know what I mean?
Oh, which brings up another thing.
I guess they were.
I was watching another video where, I don't remember where the video came from, so maybe I shouldn't even talk about it, but I'm going to anyway. There's another one. Somebody from, I probably shouldn't even say anything because I don't remember exactly, but in the video you're literally watching what looks like portals in space opening up and then shit flying out of them, and then something will open up and you see something fly into it.
I've seen that shit.
And
too.
they're
It's like
relating
wormholes.
that, yeah, they're these black holes. They started talking about CERN again, opening up these portals. A lot of this shit happens above CERN, and then they're relating a lot of it to
Like it's not because of CERN. It's just happening above CERN in space.
no, they think that
'Cause
CERN,
I
they
thought-
think that CERN has something to do with it.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, but I'm saying like this is an outside thing happening up there. It's not.
Right.
It's not like directly. It's not CERN's
No,
doing
it's
it,
not
'cause
like
I feel
in
like
our atmosphere.
all the
It's-
particle accelerator or whatever. It's all contained within that big circular thing. You know.
Right.
I mean, that's what I thought anyway. I'm no fucking physicist.
Well,
particle
no,
physicist.
I think that it is, but I think that that's affecting.
But there's
our
a lot
atmosphere
of
around
energy
it.
going on right there. So all this
Hell
stuff is
yeah.
happening like right above it because of that.
Right.
It's like a hotbed because of that shit.
Right.
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 Cool. Correct.
That is correct.
Anyway, gotta love Billy Madison.
I miss
But,
Chris Farley.
Me too.
But yeah, a lot of cool stuff going on in outer space.
Out there in the outer space.
But yeah, there's a lot of amateur videos. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Going back to
Here we go.
a previous podcast, it just popped back. What the fuck?
Don't forget.
Going back to a previous podcast where we talked about, having the internet now and how things are so readily available.
Yeah.
And how we can, whereas before you would have had to, you really wouldn't have any way to research that stuff.
Yeah.
And
Not
But-
without like trying really hard.
right, but now with cell phone technology being what it is, and the internet being what it is, and people being able to just, wow, what's that up in the sky? And they take their video and then just post it to the internet, and then millions of people across the world can see it right now.
Well, we started this whole conversation because you said Tyler from Secure Team was talking. I think you said this was talking about how there are so many now, and I think the
Right.
reason there are so many now is because everyone has a fucking camera in their pocket all the time.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's why you see multiple videos of the same thing from different angles.
Right.
Like that UFO that I think was in Brazil or whatever. Or no, it was over Jerusalem. It was like right over that temple. Like is it the Wailing Wall or whatever? I don't know. But right over that temple, there was a UFO that came down. And it was like hovering like 100 or 2 feet above it. And just chilled there. It did like a couple flashes, almost like camera flashes, real quick. Like, and then it shot way back in the sky real super fucking fast.
Right.
And there you could see that video from like 2 or 3 different angles because so many people saw it and were filming it. You could see it closer, somebody who was a lot closer to it, somebody who was way up on like a mountain or a hill far away, like you could see the city and shit. Like, I mean, there's even multiple videos for one sighting. So
Right.
that's why there's a shit ton more than there was now.
Right.
I mean, back in the day, only rich people had video cameras and shit. Like, every picture you saw, like Bigfoot and UFOs and stuff, were like grainy, shitty, like Polaroids or like old cameras that like poor people could afford, you know?
Right.
Before you could buy a fucking HD camera for a decent amount, you know?
Right.
But, yeah.
There's so much crazy shit going on, and we can. That's what I was starting to say was, before the government even has a chance to censor anything, we could
Somebody
see it
will
online.
see it.
Right, somebody is seeing it,
And
and that's the
a
cool
good
thing.
portion of them are smart enough to get it before it's gone.
Right. Well, and that's where I was going. The good
Rip
thing
it or
about the
whatever.
internet is so many people could see it, and then they can take that and rip it and share it
And just
somewhere
keep
else,
re-uploading
and then
it.
it just keeps popping up everywhere to where people are being able to see it before the government has a chance to say, no, get this off of there.
Yeah.
Now
Well,
it's viral, and everybody's seen it.
I mean, it was a public occurrence. Like, unless it's like an issue of national security or something, they really have no right to censor it.
But they do.
But they do, and they will claim it's a national security issue, even
Right.
if it isn't.
Right.
See,
Do you know they're
it all
saying
goes
that-
back to whether or not the government is corrupt. you
Well,
know,
here's my thought on it.
which might open a lot of fucking people's eyes.
If the aliens came to Earth, some people, I guess, I don't want to say people in general, but some
What do
people,
you mean, some people? I'm just kidding.
you know what I mean, douchebag. But
You mean librarians? I'm just,
funny how? Funny like a clown?
anyway, go ahead.
Anyway,
Joe Pesci.
love Joe Pesci. Go and get your shine
Speaking
box.
of Joe Pesci, sorry, hold that thought. But
I'm gonna
you ever
lose
see
the thought
that?
is what I'm gonna do.
This shit was cracking me up. But you ever see that episode of Family Guy where they're at like an Italian restaurant or something, and then Joe Pesci comes out of the fucking bathroom and he picks them up and goes, "Hey kids, look, this is what a tough guy was in the '90s."
Yep, I do.
Or some
remember that.
shit like that. Oh, that shit was killing me. Anyway,
Anyway.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
That was pointless. I
That's
don't know why I
okay.
brought it up.
So anyway, some people feel
That
like
makes me
if
laugh.
the aliens did come here,
Yeah.
that they're coming here to take over the Earth and to, all kinds of destruction and this and that.
Death and destruction,
Right,
like some Avengers shit.
right. Why in the fuck would they do that? I mean, no, but I mean, hold on. Let me say it. Why in the fuck would they do that? Because think about. First of all, we are completely depleting all of the Earth's.
All of our main resources,
Right.
To the point where we have to think of alternative resources,
Right. We're looking into space travel to populate other planets now.
Because
Why
we
would they
know
wanna-
we're doomed. It's like we
Right.
already know we're gonna fuck ourselves.
Why? And I'm not saying this is just my thought on it. What possible reason would they want this fucking planet for?
No,
These
I mean, I
motherfuckers in their spaceships can travel interdimensionally through wormholes,
I mean,
flying
maybe.
out
Who
to
knows?
distant planets that are probably so much better than ours.
very possible. Yes.
Why in the fuck would they want to take over our planet?
No, that's a good point.
Unless they're coming here to help.
Well,
And there's
No,
actually
yes.
theories. There's actually theories that this Earth was populated by aliens. We are the aliens. We
Well,
are the people
I was
that
just about to bring that
populated
up.
the people
Like-
that populated this Earth.
I believe it's the ancient Sumerian texts. I sound really fucking smart right there, but I just know that because of ancient aliens. shit.
Okay, thank you, Joe
But
Rogan.
the ancient Sumerian texts. I'm sorry, Joe Rogan.
That was
I love
a
you.
terrible Joe Rogan impression.
I was trying. I watch him a lot. It was new. I've never done it. Damn it.
All right.
But according to ancient Sumerian texts, I should do my hair all crazy like that Giorgio Sakalopoulos guy or
You
whatever,
talk a lot with your hands.
who doesn't have like any real like credibility when it comes to like education, but like he's just always there.
He's always there, and he's
He's the
super
alien
fucking smart.
guy.
Yeah.
The guy you always see in the fucking It's Aliens memes. Anyway, according to these ancient Sumerian texts, the gods came down or whatever and taught us like a whole bunch of shit, these ancient Sumerians, and we were almost like slaves to them because they wanted gold. They needed gold for their planet or some shit. I think this is what it was. Like, this is gonna break down how smart I sounded earlier because now I'm gonna sound like a total jackass because I'm forgetting everything now. But there might be something here that maybe we don't even know is so valuable. Like, maybe it's not so valuable to us, but to them it might be like,
I gotta
this
piss.
is gonna save our fucking planet.
Like my leg is shaking. I gotta piss so bad.
Go for it. We're gonna take a break. We'll be right back.
Like my leg is seriously shaking.
And we're back. We both took a piss while we were at it. Forget what I was talking about. Oh,
Out with the old.
we were talking about the ancient Sumerian
With the new.
text. And
I started like I guess, from what I remember, I could be confusing or mixing some things together, but they wanted gold for some reason, which is valuable to us. But in the ancient days, I don't know, to Sumerians it might not have been so valuable. Maybe it was, but apparently that's why they were here for some reason. And so for all we know, there could be something here that they want. And they could come with hostile intentions, you know what I mean? Maybe even something that's not so valuable to us, but it's valuable to them because they need it for some reason. Like, I think maybe the reason they wanted gold or whatever, and I could just be thinking of a plot from a movie or a book or a comic or something, but they needed it to save their atmosphere. Like, they needed to put gold in the atmosphere to, like, save the planet because their atmosphere was depleting, almost like there was like the hole in the ozone layer type shit. But for all we know, maybe they got to come down here and like aluminum is something they need, or maybe even plastic. Like maybe they don't have the capabilities of making plastic. I don't know.
They can make spaceships, but they can't make plastic.
Good point.
So,
but I mean, like, but maybe I don't know. Maybe we have a shit ton of water. Maybe they don't have water on their planet.
Maybe not, but I'll bet you, as big as space is, I'll bet you there's at least one or two other planets that have water. And I'm sure they've already found them because those motherfuckers can travel through space
apparently
pretty quick.
There's water on Mars, we found out, right?
Right.
So, I mean, there's water out there.
Yeah.
And apparently there's microbial life on Mars.
Which brings me to another topic. Did you know? You know what? I don't remember where I got that, so maybe I shouldn't say that either. But I'm going to.
Okay.
I was just reading something. Or maybe I watched a video. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But somewhere.
Animals, man.
I know. Somewhere I either read or saw this, but they're talking about taking basically dead bodies and sending them out into space.
Human bodies?
Yes. So that way they'll just float out to wherever they float to. And once they enter into some other atmosphere, they will fall to that planet, and their bodies will decompose on that planet within that atmosphere.
And almost like seeding the planet.
Exactly.
Spreading our DNA across the galaxy or the universe.
Is it just me, or is that fucking crazy to think that we're going to send dead bodies out into space?
Well, I mean, there's probably that weird guy that's like, would totally volunteer for that. Like, I want to be that guy, you know what I mean? I'm not one of those guys. But,
my thought is,
have you ever seen
if the aliens are coming to our planet and they're pissed, that's probably going to be the reason why.
Like, dude, you're sending your gross-ass dead body?
Yeah, we don't want these things.
What the fuck? This landed on my house.
You're right.
Are we going live in 2, 1, go? It's time to go. Come on.
Are we live already?
Well, I don't know. Let me refresh the page.
Can
Come
you
on.
hear us? Can you guys hear us?
Can you hear
Let
me?
us know.
Hello. It says we're live. It says we're live. Oh, we're live.
Make sure you pay attention to comments and stuff.
I am. I'm watching now. Come on.
We have one viewer still. We're holding strong with one viewer.
All right. In the meantime, again, I'm going to go ahead and explain. We are broadcasting on Facebook Live for this episode. There's really no structure. We're basing it completely on the few viewers that we have in hopes that
somebody will ask questions.
in hopes that they will help us create this episode on the fly.
Right.
Yeah. Here in good old Ohio.
Tisby says if
4
you have a
seasons in
beard,
1
you
week.
can glitterfy it.
What?
Glitterfy it. You've never seen that?
I didn't hear what you said.
Tisby says if you have a beard, you can glitterfy it.
Oh, no thank you.
She said it's the new trend.
Well, as you can tell, I'm not very trendy. Aside from a Rogue One t-shirt.
Yeah.
That's new, so I guess it could be considered trendy.
Yeah.
Which, thank you, Beeb. I'm sure you're not watching. Maybe you are. You're working. I hope you're having a good day at work. I got this for Christmas. Oh, I never told you the shit I got for Christmas.
Becky says go pink.
Go pink? No.
Go pink.
Hell no. What,
Hell
for
no.
like breast cancers?
I think with your glitter. I think she means with
No,
your
I know
glitter.
that, but like,
Yeah, go pink for breast cancer.
I like boobies.
Boobies are fine. I like boobies.
And I like them to be healthy.
Yes. I think all boobies should wear pink ribbons.
Oh. Has anybody out there seen Rogue One? The new Star Wars movie?
For Save the Tatas, she said.
Save the Tatas. Yeah.
Save them. And the whales.
Yes, we got to. No beard mark. If you have one, you'd belong on the show Duck Dynasty.
No, I would
LOL.
not.
Christy said, Sarah says she has extra purple hair dye. That would be cool.
Our sister, Christy?
Yes.
Why the hell do you have purple hair dye? Your hair's not purple.
No, she said Sarah has purple
Oh.
hair dye. She wants to dye your hair purple.
I mean, if Emily likes it, maybe.
Okay.
But probably not.
Maybe we'll have to get you on a dare. Or
On Dare, get me off drugs.
yeah, get you double dare.
With Mark Summers, Double Dare.
Oh,
Shows-
no,
that
I was gonna
shows
say,
my
remember a while ago we used to play those games, and then whoever lost had to do something. Maybe that can be your punishment for losing.
Yeah, we
something.
haven't done that in a while. It's because Emily works so much.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like the only people that ever actually had to go through with their punishment or the stipulation or whatever was me and Brett. You didn't have to do anything. Brett had to be naked in one episode, which, spoiler alert, he was actually wearing underwear, and I just put Miggy's face over it. There was a part in there.
Spoiling it.
Anybody that watched it knows that.
Becky said she double dog dares you to.
And I had to wear a dress in the one.
I think, do your hair purple.
Do my hair purple? I do have longer hair now. It's probably really messy.
Yeah.
I need a haircut, but I
It's
told Emily
flat.
I want to grow it out for... Yeah, it's kind of wearing a hat. I wanted to grow out for winter and shit. And I miss my long hair. But it's kind of a pain in the ass.
It is. That's why I shave my head now.
But I feel like I got it. I should grow it out while I have it. If
Yeah.
I ever lose it, I'm gonna be like, man, I should
I think
have
you'll be
grew my
fine.
hair real long, at least for a good few years.
No, I think you'll be fine.
Because I mean, I've had it long for like a year and a half, and then I inevitably cut it.
Becky says purple hair and glitter pink beard.
Jesus, what the fuck is wrong with you people?
Estelle wants to know what our favorite music is.
I like the good kind. I like all kinds of music. If I think it sounds good and I like it and I dig it, I like it.
That's how I feel.
I mean, I don't really the only like. If I had to say one genre has the least amount of music I like, I would probably say like new country music. Not all of it, but I mean, I like old country. That's what I like. That's what I grew up with. That's what my Uncle Rick would play and sing and shit on the porch, you know, at fucking reunions and at his house and shit. That's what I grew up with. Like 90s country was cool too. I like that too because I was a kid. And that's what I listened to back then.
Right.
Everybody starts out listening to weird shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That you're embarrassed of your whole like adolescence, and then when you grow up, you're like, "Fuck yeah, I liked NSYNC, tearing up my heart." Then you sing it like fucking word for word.
Oh God. Or the Wiggles.
Oh, I know a lot of Wiggles songs by heart because of Clay.
Yep. The boys loved the Wiggles. I knew
The original
just about every
Wiggles.
song by the Wiggles.
There's only one original Wiggle, and they kept the cool Wiggle, the blue one.
Tisvy. Oh, Hannah says, "Can I dye your hair, Mark?" And then Tisvy says,
Jesus, what is the deal?
Tisvy says, "If he says no, Hannah, do it when he's sleeping."
Fuck
Sarah Hoover.
that shit.
Sarah says, "Which do you like more, Rogue One or The Force Awakens?"
That is
no
a good-
Rogue spoilers, please.
Okay, I'll we still have to do a spoiler-filled review. You haven't seen it, but me and Emily are going to. If you haven't checked out the spoiler-free one, check it out. It's on our YouTube channel. Rogue One or Force Awakens? That's a hard one to answer right now. As of right now, I like Rogue One more than Force Awakens. But time will tell on that. Because the only reason I say I like Rogue One more is because Force Awakens had so many unanswered questions that'll probably be answered in the next two movies. With that said, I still think Rogue One's a better movie right now, also because it just like hit perfectly on so many levels. Like a lot of people didn't like some of the things in the movie, and some of those things they didn't like are things I really liked. But it's not without its flaws, Rogue One, but it was really well done, and I like it. Very cool.
All right. I like Spaceballs better.
Spaceballs is amazing. I love
Yep.
Spaceballs.
That was my favorite.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I wonder how Dougie feels about Yogurt, the Yoda type character from Spaceballs that was played by Mel Brooks, because Dougie loves Yoda.
So I wonder if he's like offended by yogurt and thinks it's stupid and making fun of Yoda, or if he takes it. I wonder if he's even seen Spaceballs.
I don't know.
If you're listening, Dougie, or watching, let me know. Or even in the future, go ahead and comment tomorrow or the next day or some shit.
I think they should show, like they show how many people are watching. I think they should show who it is so that we can call them out for not asking questions. That'd be cool.
I don't think that's cool at all.
Be like,
That's
hey,
alienating our audience. Thank you for just watching. I don't feel that way at all.
Yeah, that's a good point.
All right.
Cool whip.
This is
Cool whip.
episode number 28 we'd be doing, sir.
Yeah.
You seem down and out.
I'm tired.
You tired? What have you been up to today?
I've been sick. The last, probably 4 days, like it hit me.
Yeah.
Like it was one of them things I could feel it coming on, and then it just hit me really hard. So,
Just, I probably already asked you this. Your mic is on, right? Right?
I'm your kid's what?
I said your mic is on, right?
Oh yeah.
All right, cool. Just make it sure. Like I said, I think.
Sounded like you said you're my kid's something.
You're my kid's aunt, right?
That's what it sounded like.
I'm like, no. If you had kids, I'd be their uncle. Dummy. Yeah. So I guess that's all stuff to look forward to, ladies and gentlemen.
Why'd your voice get so high like that?
Because I get excited. I don't know.
All right, fair enough. All right,
All
fair
right.
enough.
Mom.
Well, God,
What is wrong with this today?
I don't know.
I just ate, so like all that energy I expelled today, like it's replenishing, but I'm like in a weird mode now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's kind of how I feel.
Because that's the first I ate today. You know, it's a fucking Baconator and some fries and
A baconator.
a
and some fries.
Apparently, this is what I sound like. I sound like somebody. I can't quite.
Yoda?
think
Baconator it was.
of- Okay.
No, I know what you mean. I feel the same way. I feel
We need to do
almost
This.
relaxed right now for some strange reason.
We need. Yeah, I am. Me too. But we need to like do this earlier in the day or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really do.
Are we just gonna make fun of how my tired voice the
Yeah.
whole time?
Yeah, I think we should.
One of the things I wrote down to talk about in one of these episodes we're doing is one of these fucking things we do out here. Was dad stories. Do you have any more dad stories? There's gotta be plenty.
Gosh, there's probably some. You know, I have a terrible memory.
You spent more time with dad than I did,
Yeah.
and you probably have more stories that incorporate the whole family.
Well, the thing is, back in those days, I was really young, and I have a terrible memory. There's certain things that I remember.
Well, they don't need to be like detailed stories, but like
Yeah.
obviously it's somewhat entertaining. You know what I mean? And there's got to be moments where dad was somewhat entertaining. Like, didn't dad go to? What was it? Oh, he went to In-N-Out and he ordered In-N-Out burgers animal style, but he didn't say animal style. He
Yes,
said doggy style.
Yeah. Everybody started laughing.
Yeah, you even heard the people in the place through the intercom laughing.
Yep, they were laughing as well.
But like stuff like that, you know what I mean?
Right. No, there's, like I said, I have a terrible memory. But the thing is, as we talk about things, it'll strike something in me, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I remember this,
Yeah.
and I remember that. But to just sit here and try and go through my brain would not
Especially
be,
right now.
Yeah, it would not
Just by
be,
how you're talking sentence by sentence.
Yeah, it wouldn't be very interesting for me to sit here and try and remember stuff while I'm talking, because for some reason I just can't do that.
No, I understand.
I mean, I can make up whole entire stories about you starting off the Facebook Live dressed in a Chippendales costume,
but you
that's
can't
just
tell
me.
a true story from 10 or 15 or 20 years ago.
Right, because I just don't remember them. There are little things here and there, but to just pick something out of my brain,
Isn't that sad?
it is.
Because I'll remember things that I haven't even thought about, that I forgot. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, fuck, dude, how could I forget that? That was awesome.
Right.
Like
Well,
that was something I would want to remember forever.
yeah.
And I forgot about that shit.
And then there's dumb shit that's stuck in my brain. Like, I can remember our house in Garden Grove. we had the big giant pool in the backyard, and then off the side of the pool was the in-ground jacuzzi right next to the pool.
Yeah, god damn, you guys had it made.
There
when
was
you were young. I
the
lived on a hill.
the block.
You know what I mean?
The block around the whole perimeter of the pool had like this lip on it that like came up at an angle, probably a good, I don't know, maybe 2 inches.
I got you.
And I can remember I used to take my bicycle and ride it super fast all around the pool until I felt like I was going like, I don't know, just super fast. And then I would take my bike and hit that lip and jump up over top of the jacuzzi and then back down on the other side.
Really? The lip was that? What did you kind of like?
Well, yeah.
Bunny
I mean,
hop?
it was enough to just kind of kick it up.
They give you that little kick up.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
And the jacuzzi wasn't that big, but I used to jump my bicycle over it. See, and that's what I'm saying. I can remember dumb shit that's never gonna matter.
Yeah.
I can remember dumb shit like that. I can remember me and the neighbor kids, Aaron.
But see,
Garrett,
that's not even really
Jeff,
a dad story. That's other
Danny
stories.
Newberry. That's what I'm saying, though. If you were to say, now, had you said, do you have any good stories about jumping your bike over the pool? I would have been like,
I guess I should broaden it. It doesn't have to be strictly dad
Can't
stories.
think of any about jumping over the pool.
But I guess dad stories is a good jump off point.
But I might have thought about it some dad story had you said that.
That's true. I guess I didn't have those. You probably jumped to that because that was a time period with dad. I grew up differently. You know, I had Roger and I saw dad in the summertime. You know.
Oh.
So like, all my
See?
stories from that time period, like if dad was in them, it was like a certain region. Like it was in the summertime. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or it was at like Christmas, or you know when he would come to visit in like January and shit.
Right.
So, yeah. What
Well,
time is it?
6:56.
6:50. Maybe we should just set up. Here,
I was gonna say, as you were talking, like I had just finished explaining, a story did just pop into my head, and I don't know if I want to say it or not because it might embarrass Dad a little bit. But it involves vacuuming the floor and
Oh, I know
singing
exactly.
some Dancing Queen.
Was it ABBA?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't tell that story though. I'll just leave it at that.
You pretty much just did.
Yeah, but there was more to it that was
there's-
really funny.
yeah.
It was really funny.
Yeah, but the core of it was there.
Right.
Maybe, like I said, maybe we should just go ahead and set up right now. Give people time to come in. you know.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, all right.
Well, I guess while we wait.
All right.
We were,
So
before we went live, we were talking about childhood stories or dad stories. Which, since we're brothers, would be about the same person.
tell me about your dad, Mark.
Well, my dad's pretty similar to yours. I mean,
Yeah?
I think they'd get along.
I know they both have great hair. Great hair.
Somewhere right now, Dad is smiling.
Nick says, "Oh, it's bigger." Yeah, it is.
Is that Mr. Hannencrad, Nick?
It is.
Oh, how's it going, sir?
Estelle says, "Love dad stories."
All right, we'll tell one.
All right, we'll tell one, Estelle.
No, I mean you. All right. Dad stories. You don't have any?
Just the. Oh God. Well, like I said, there's the one that came to mind, but it might be embarrassing to him, so I'm not going to tell him, or I'm not going to tell it.
The one that involves ABBA
But, well, I'll tell part of it.
and Dancing Queen.
Yeah. No, I don't want to
The
tell it.
face you
I don't
just
want to
gave
tell
me.
it because I don't want to embarrass him. But long story short, I came home from school at lunchtime, and I had one of my good friends with me, Chris Landon, which, oh, by the way, Chris Landon, I want to give a shout out to my buddy Chris Landon, who has his own podcast, which is called The Land of Landon Land. And if you like, I know it's an awesome name. His last name's Landon, and he calls it The Land of Landon Land. But anyway, shout out to my friend Chris Landon, old friend of mine. He does a lot of videos where he does a lot of driving for work. So while he's driving, he'll put on his camera on his phone and he'll talk to the camera, and then he'll stop and like explore different places like abandoned buildings and stuff.
So he's like an urban explorer.
Yeah, and then if he gets a chance, he's got a drone that he'll fly up over top of all this stuff so you can get a view of everything. They're just really good podcasts.
Yeah.
And or vlogs maybe is what you would call those, because they're only on YouTube.
Yeah.
And they're
it's
just
more
video.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's called The Land of Landon Land. So if you get a chance, check it out. It's actually really good.
But
like and subscribe.
He was the friend that was with you?
Yeah. We came, to get back to the story, well, at Glendora High School, we were allowed to leave. If you lived within a certain radius of the school, you were allowed to leave and go home for lunch.
Yeah.
So we did that, and, well, I walked in, and Dad was at home cleaning the house, and he was vacuuming, and I'll fucking say it, because I walked in and Dad's standing there in his underwear, and he's vacuuming the floor, dancing and singing Dancing Queen that was blasting on the radio. Sorry, Dad, I hope that doesn't embarrass you, but yeah, he was dancing around in his boxer briefs, singing Dancing Queen by ABBA while he was vacuuming the floor, which was pretty funny.
I bet that was quite a sight to see. And he was completely unaware. He couldn't see. Like, that's
Well-
what I remember, is that he did it for a minute and he didn't
Yeah,
notice
when
it.
I first walked in, he had his back to me, and I was like, oh shit. And then Chris walked in right behind me and got to experience it. And then he turned around and he was like, oh, hey guys. And then he went and got dressed or
So
whatever.
Dad didn't
but-
even give a shit. That was business as usual for Dad.
I guess.
Dad was a Dancing Queen on a regular basis.
I guess. I mean, who knows what... I don't know. I have no idea. But that's a funny story.
That
I
is
have
a
about
funny
Dad.
story. I remember that story now.
But yeah, he was. He didn't seem embarrassed at all at the time, and it was absolutely hilarious. And Chris was laughing, I was laughing, and so that's one of my fun
Good story.
Dad stories.
Good story. Well, there you go. How'd you guys like that story? There's people saying shit over there?
Estelle said, "Ha ha ha ha."
That's it? That's all that happened?
But anyway,
Well, hell, Miguel. Well, hell. Hell.
what'd you do now?
Oh.
So what do you got?
For a dad story, let's see. I was visiting him during the summertime with my friend J.J. Rogers and Jeremy Rogers. We went to Wiener Schnitzel, which is a fast food hot dog place out there. They serve like chili dogs and chili fries, and I
So
think
they don't serve wiener?
they're not human wiener,
Oh,
but they serve like hot dogs and shit. And I think they serve like chili burgers and weird burgers and stuff like that too, don't they?
I don't know. They might now. I don't think they used to.
But we were in the drive-through, and Dad was ordering, and I forget how he said it or whatever, but he ordered something. He ordered like chili dogs, and he's like, "Let me get 2 chili dogs and a Coke or a Pepsi." And he goes, "Do you want cheese on that?" And Dad goes, "The guy goes, do you want cheese on that?" Dad goes, "Well, not on the Pepsi." And I don't think the guy thought it was very funny, but I thought it was silly. Silly.
Other tragedies, for example, 9/11. Thousands of people lost their lives.
Yeah.
And I am convinced that was an inside job at this point.
More of me believes that it was.
I am
That
thoroughly
not-
convinced that was an inside job.
Yeah.
Like, the only reason I say more of me
And
and not
what-
all of me is because I just don't know.
And they killed thousands of people, important people that worked in the World Trade Centers.
And a lot of people
important.
miraculously weren't there.
Well, but my point is, there's still thousands of people that our government killed in a quote-unquote terrorist attack for what? Because they wanted to go to war.
Some people think that they didn't do it, but they just spun it. They capitalized on it. You know what I mean? They didn't do anything about it, though, to begin with. They had a bunch of warnings, but like they said, they always got warnings and never anything happened. But I mean, who knows? Who knows? All I know is that I'm not convinced, and it's fishy. It's very, very fishy. A lot of this stuff is.
Well,
And I think the internet helps and hinders a lot of truth.
here's
Because the truth is out there, and the truth is in the details, you know what I mean? But there's a lot of bullshit. A lot of just speculation. A lot of stuff that's just in somebody's head and has no valid evidence. You know what I mean? Somebody they thought of, they have nothing to disprove it, so they feel like that's the case. And it's hard to differentiate that sometimes. Some people present it to you so fucking well that you're convinced until something else convinces you otherwise. And sometimes I'm just like, that's a good point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that I really thought that it was, this way, an inside job or something, but that's a really good fucking point. But then there's other things that I'm just like, no, that didn't prove anything. See, it's so hard. The older I get, the more I think about it critically, the more I think about it, all this stuff. I think about it harder and more realistically, and the more I think the internet is,
the internet is a terrible thing.
has its pros and its cons.
Yeah.
And I can't determine whether or not there's more cons or more pros.
I think there's definitely more pros than cons, but I think that
it's
the
capable
internet,
and has been, in many occasions, an amazing thing. It is great in a lot of ways, but it is absolutely terrible in a lot of ways, too. It's ruining a lot of people. I think it needs to be not censored or regulated or anything, but I think it needs to be put into perspective for a lot of people. They take it too seriously. They live in it.
yeah,
It's
I
an
agree with
alternate
you.
world for a lot of people.
No, I agree with you on that for sure. I think. Well, we had talked about this before.
And sometimes, not to cut you off, and you get so lost in it sometimes, you can't tell what's real or what's fake anymore. And I think that's what they want. That's what they're doing. That's why there's a new fucking story every day
Well, that's what they were
from
doing.
every fucking perspective. That's why the media has their own opinions and agenda. It's one huge fucking messy web.
Right. You can literally go on the web and find a story, and then find the exact same story that contradicts this story, and then another story that backs up this story, and then another story that backs up this story.
But all of these, every single one of them has truth here and truth here and truth here and truth here, but it's hard to differentiate everything else.
Right. Well, and that's one thing that Mark
Because-
Zuckerberg was talking about with Facebook and the internet, and he's teaming up with whoever it is, I don't fucking know, but they're trying to basically clean up the internet. They're trying to eliminate all these fake news sources that are, because you can go on Facebook, and they're trying to eliminate all these fake news sources on Facebook, where Mark Zuckerberg says, if you're not telling the truth, we're going to delete your shit. Well,
But
they're trying
who-
to do that with the internet.
The
So
thing, that could be good or bad, though. Like, who's to say what's true and what's not? You know what I mean?
yeah.
If
No, I
that gets
see what
in
you're
the
saying.
hands of the wrong person, they could be feeding us exactly what they want us to know and hear. And they could be not feeding us what we need to know and hear.
right.
That's the problem there. I don't know Mark Zuckerberg, but if that Social Network movie is any indication, he kind of a dickhead sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but he's kind of a good dude from what you hear sometimes too. So
Right.
again, that was a movie
Right.
written by a very great scriptwriter, Aaron Sorkin.
Right.
But I mean, and directed by the guy who made fucking Fight Club at 7. I mean,
Well, I have a feeling, and I don't know why I have this feeling, but I have a feeling a lot of shit is going to be revealed in 2017. I've had this feeling for a little while, and I've noticed, this is what I started to say, we had kind of talked about it before. I think, well, what we talked about before was, like I said, I didn't like Donald Trump to be president. I didn't like Hillary Clinton to be president. But I think Trump's going to teach us some stuff. I really do. I think he's going to teach us a few things about what's really going on. I don't know why I feel that way, but I do. And
do you think he's going to do it on purpose, or you think it's going to be like something that happens inevitably because of...
no, I think he's going to do it on purpose. I for some reason, I feel like he's going to come out and say, this is what's going on with this. This is what's going on with this. And let me go back again, too. We talked a few episodes ago about all the stuff that's happening around the world right now that, with the help of the internet, we would have never known. Like all these UFO sightings and all the... I just drew a blank. Just all the shit that's going on in the world that's coming to light now. Mandela effect, aliens, this and that and the other things that, you know, we always thought, well, okay, yeah, it's this huge universe. There's got to be other stuff out there. Well, there's more and more videos on the internet popping up showing shit that can't be explained. There's astronaut footage that's finally coming out where they're saying this is what we saw,
And there's whistleblowers and shit all the time, supposed whistleblowers.
and they're coming
Again, those are some things that are hard to differentiate truth from fiction. But
right.
I mean, you're right. More and more is coming out. More people are coming forward. More videos are coming out. But at the same time, more and more platforms and ways for that to happen are being created.
Right.
Like all kinds of stuff. I mean, fuck, dude, I could make a legitimate UFO video if I wanted to.
Do you have a UFO?
No, but I
Then
could
it won't be a legitimate UFO video.
Okay, I could make one that okay. I could make a video that would be hard. That could probably make, Tyler from Secure Team think this might be real.
Right.
You know what I mean? And there's nobody that could say that it isn't other than me.
Right.
Or somebody that was there that helped me do it.
Right. And I agree with you. I think that a lot of that stuff could be fake.
I mean, fuck, you buy Adobe Premiere or whatever that expensive-ass editing program, they have After Effects. You could fucking do all kinds of shit with that stuff. Stuff that, like, you used to they only did in movies. Now you could do a lot of that stuff
At home on
your
computer.
computer, being a novice.
Right. It's...
I mean, fuck, I've learned how to do all this stuff without any schooling, just reading.
Right.
And learning.
Well, and that comes back to the good with the internet.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't have the internet, how would you have learned to do that stuff?
I would have had to have fucking spent 60 to 80 grand going to a film school for 4 years.
Yep.
Been in debt for the rest of my life, just hoping
That
I
you
got
could
that
find a
job I wanted
Yep.
that would pay that off.
Right.
That's how I would have had to have done it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been able to afford, an HD camera that's as good as it is and shit. Like, I wouldn't have this laptop. And this laptop sucks, but I'm still happy I fucking have it. It gets what I need to do done. It may be frustrating, and it may not be as easy as it could or should be.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I tough it out. I forget what my point was here, but it's very easy to do these things nowadays.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. But what I was saying was I think, and I don't have anything to really back it up other than just my feeling.
Yeah.
But I think that a lot of stuff is going to happen in 2017 where it's just going to open people's eyes
That could very well be so.
to what's really going on.
I feel like that's been happening for like the last 5 or 10 years now.
slowly every year, people's eyes get open a little bit more to all these new things. I mean, I think that's kind of how it's been forever. With new generations coming along, we're evolving. Our brains are expanding. Our consciousness is becoming greater. We are understanding things. We are more open-minded to things nowadays, especially. I mean, look at all these millennials and all this weird shit. All these kids today are like want to be vegan, or they have some certain gender pronoun for themselves and shit. Like there's kids that identify as male when they're female. You know what I mean? And vice versa. Like generations get weirder and more, not necessarily weirder, but more accepting and more open-minded about things as time goes on. I mean, we're more open-minded than Mom and Roger. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
And Mom and Roger are probably way more open-minded than,
than their
Grandma and
were.
Grandpa.
Yeah.
And so on.
Right.
Especially within the last, 100 years where everything just was booming. Ever since the Industrial Revolution and on, that's kind of how it's been. Just because so many advancements over time, things happening that people thought were science fiction or could never be possible were happening. And that only happens more as time goes on. So, again, I forget what my point was there, but I think it's just a natural process, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I do agree with you. And, well, I think it's because we're living in a simulated universe like the Matrix.
That's a possibility.
Actually, not to completely change the subject, but did you hear about that? There was all these quantum physicists are saying now that they believe we have shifted into this alternate reality that is actually, I know.
No, keep going.
Even I think this is absolutely ridiculous. But these quantum physicists are saying, not all of them, but there's a theory out there that we're living in basically a virtual reality world. We're all part of basically a video game.
Well, that's what they're saying because there's simulations now. I actually watched something. I think it was because I didn't watch the show when it was on, but I recently heard about it and it's on YouTube. I watched a few full episodes of it, but on Sci-Fi, Joe Rogan had a show called Joe Rogan Questions Everything, and he was talking to people about artificial intelligence and how at one point it's going to be hard to determine the difference between the two, and they're going to be sentient and conscious, and they're going to be like living beings. You know what I mean? And he went to one guy and talked to him, and he said they already have higher intelligent beings in computer simulations. Beings that are they're higher beings than ourselves in a simulated world. You know what I mean? They've already achieved more than we have in a simulated world.
Crazy to think about.
Now, he didn't show Joe that I mean, he might have, but they didn't show it on the show. He didn't prove that at all. But I want to see that. Do an episode about that, Joe. I wish that show was still on because it was like a better version of that conspiracy theory with Jesse Ventura's show. Because Jesse kind of bought into a lot of them. Joe was the first one to call you on your bullshit.
Right.
He was the first one to go in there. I want to feel that. I want to touch that. What do you mean this experiment is ruined because of this factor right here? You're full of shit. Like, Joe Rogan I love that guy.
He is the shit.
I don't agree with him on everything, but that
he
guy
is
is cool.
Funny. Oh my god, he's
yeah.
funny.
His fucking watch his stand up on Netflix is fucking great.
It
You
is
showed
hilarious.
it to me.
It is hilarious.
Yeah, man. Basically, my point with that, and I know I wasn't trying to shoot you down on a lot of things you were saying, but I know I normally don't do that, and it probably threw you off a little bit that I was being so critical about some of this shit.
Asshole.
But I mean, my point with all that is that as time goes on, I'm not as convinced as I used to be about a lot of these things, and I think it's because I have more questions this time. I get smarter.
Right.
You know what I mean? So new questions arise that are not as easy to answer.
Well, no, and I see what you're saying because I used to be the same way, where what I was told is what I believed. And now, as I get older, I realize, no, you have to question what people are telling you.
Or else you're just a dummy.
Right.
Or else you're just believing everything. Like, I could tell you that fucking, you know, dicks taste like vanilla. And you'd be like, cool, I want to suck some dicks. Until you do. And that just makes you a dummy.
That's true.